everybody, and welcome to this Friday live edition of Foul Territory. We made it. We made it to the end of the week. I'm your host, Alanna Rizzo, in for Scott Braun. That is Erik Kratz. Trevor May. I am Trevor May is joining us too. We appreciate you being here. I think he's at a pumpkin patch. Erik said that he's drinking a pumpkin spice latte. Trevor says he is not drinking that, so I will take him at his word. Great to be with you guys. Don't forget, everybody watching and listening, hashtag FT Live. Get in the chat, get in the conversation. You can shop us at foulterritory.com. What's up, Erik? You got something to say. What is it?
Alanna, you've been on here for 5 straight days, and your energy is still peak. Like,
Yes!
You have mega energy, and I appreciate that. I don't want
people
people to think this is Alanna's first day. Her energy is peak. But you know what? Just like every starter, you're going to have an off day tomorrow. I need you to bring it today, okay? I need you to keep it hype. Even though your boo is coming on, JT. I love you, JT. You're the best.
I do love JT. Justin Turner is on the show. But you know what? I tell you, I appreciate the thought, by the way, EK. But we have a good show because not only is Justin Turner coming on the show, Ken Rosenthal is joining us as well. Happy birthday, Ken Rosenthal. AJ Ellis is joining the show. So another fellow catcher, Erik, of course, talking about all things Clayton Kershaw, who announced his retirement yesterday. He's going to retire after the season. We'll get T. May's thoughts on that because you and I discussed it yesterday. And Cade Povich of the Baltimore Orioles also joining us on the show. So a lot to get to on this 2-hour program. Let's get to it. Let's charge the mound.
He's charging the mound.
All right, so Cleveland is making a playoff push. Trevor, we have been discussing this all week long, as I'm sure you have too, on all of your relative podcasts as well. But Cleveland's making a push for it. The American League is still a nightmare. The National League, the Mets are still holding on by a, chinny chin chin there. What do you make of this Guardians push? Are they getting in your opinion?
It's going to be tough, and they still got to go take care of Detroit again. Which they just did, but it's always fun to see a super hot team right at the end of the year. I feel like a team that sneaks in usually puts on a pretty good show in October, and we want all the hottest teams playing each other at the end anyway. So if it did happen, wouldn't hate it. Still think things are going against them a little bit with having to chase 2 good teams that are going to be out there having to battle it out as well in Boston and the Mariners. And also when it comes to the Mariners and the Astros, like, it's not like if you jump one, the other one's not going to be in your way. So a lot needs to happen, but it's about finishing strong. So the worst case scenario for the Guardians and Guardians fans, finishing strong, getting on finishing the year on the right foot is one thing you can hang your hat on. But if you can sneak in, Gosh, that's just a fun story. You want to see things like that happen, but I think there still needs a few more things to happen before I'm truly believing that it will.
Yeah, they don't control their own destiny. EK, should we be making more of a deal about the Guardians making a last-minute push or the Tigers really scuffling? We know the Tigers are getting in, whatever. But should a bigger deal be made about the Tigers scuffling right now, or do we care?
Man, I guess at what point do we care about the Tigers scuffling? We kind of talked about it the other day about how their team is not built on 9 dudes in the lineup that play 155 games. Their team is built on 13 guys in the lineup playing 155 games. Kerry Carpenter, who in my opinion should be getting 600 at-bats a year, he doesn't get that many because they try to platoon advantage him as much as they can. But when that's happening, you go through stretches where it's not going well. So am I not concerned at all? No, I'm a little concerned about the Tigers, the way they're not winning games, because they figure out how to win games. But I am super enthused about the fact that Tarik Skubal went out last night and absolutely shoved. Because when your ace comes off the mound like this, you are supreme worried because you've kind of been coasting to this point in the season. So, no, I'm not concerned yet for the Tigers. They still have to close out these Guardians who are winning. We keep finding a team every 3 days. It's like, oh, wait, this team wins 7 in a row. Oh, 9 in a row. Mets lose 8 in a row. It's the ebbs and flows of the season. It's just more magnified because We ain't got many games left.
Trevor, what if the Guardians didn't trade away Shane Bieber? What if the Guardians didn't have a couple of guys under investigation because of gambling issues? This is just the thing. It's like if you miss, I'd rather be blown out and be like the Athletics or the Rockies at this point that have no shot of getting into the postseason than miss the postseason by one game. How do you feel about it?
It's weird. That's a two-sided coin, right? Like you can be excited that the guy stepped up into those spots that were vacated and got even better. Or did the job well and maybe established themselves for the future moving forward. Or you can, think hindsight is 2020. I think that the Guardians historically have always thought of it the first way. But it's definitely tough to think about what happened, especially with the gambling stuff. Their pitching has been good. The starting pitching has been good. And they've scored enough runs to win 81 games so far. Like, it's hard to say if it wouldn't be the same situation because wins are wins, whether or not who's in there playing or not. So it's just what they always do. They just always find value from these guys that maybe we don't know or are young. And they're just proving that again. It's definitely a cultural thing there that you can go and you can make noise at the end of the year. And that's why they're always in this position about this time.
Erik, Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams anchoring the Cleveland rotation. Obviously, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But if they were to get in, let's say, and I understand completely that is a big if. We're talking a lot this week about how all 30 teams have holes, right? Regardless of who gets into the postseason, you can poke holes at all. What are the Guardians?
Well, I know Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams are not hitting for them, so there's a big hole. Like, their lineup just isn't. It's like an every other year lineup. It's the Bruce Bochy lineup. Like, they show up every other year and they do awesome. Where did all that power go? Where did the guys, the extra power? Obviously, you have an perennial top 5 MVP finisher in Jose Ramirez in that lineup. Like, what he can do from both sides of the plate just changes the lineup. Why he doesn't walk more is clueless to me because he chases and his arms are like a foot long. Mm-hmm. Teams just are afraid to walk him, and he's afraid to walk himself. So outside of Jose Ramirez and great at-bats from Steven Kwan, you're really not getting a lot of fear in other teams' pitchers. Scouting reports, it's like, hey, throw strikes. These guys will put the ball in play. That's about it. You take Josh Naylor out of the lineup, and look what you have this year. You have And I just think it's too little in that lineup, and Cleveland fans need to look back. And I know they've been clamoring for their ownership to spend, and they'll never spend. But the one time that they went to the World Series and they lost to the Cubs, they had gone out and got a major piece in Edwin Encarnacion. They had gone out and they had a great core, which this organization always builds and brings to the big leagues and gives them confidence. They always have good starting pitching because their formula is ridiculous about what they think in starting pitching. And now recently they've had bullpens. Like, they've built bullpens, and that's epic. But you got to spend for that extra bat that's going to be right behind Jose Ramirez and giving him protection and fear for the other team. I guess it's still me.
You're the host now.
I'm the host now. I appreciate that. I thought it was going to be me and you the whole time. It was just going to be a nerd and a pitcher. That's all that I thought it was going to be. But
I thought you were mentioning my nerd because of glasses, man. You haven't even said anything about him yet.
Oh, it wasn't. I didn't even notice you had glasses on. I thought I was working with Superman. My question is for you. You played against the Guardians. You came up through that organization. What did you guys think in Minnesota when you were like, oh, yeah, we're going to play the Guardians? Were you like, catch them when they're hot. They might be tough. If not, never too fearful of them is how I felt. But I was never in that division consistently except for when I was in KC for a little. Yeah,
and I think you nailed a little bit. It was more pesky, or like this is a team of grinders. Like, they're going to grind you out. It's going to be an exhausting game. But as a pitcher, I saw it in a lens like there's 2 or 3 guys that you really got to worry about, and then everyone else you're trying to work around, and then just hope you don't line up against Cy Young Bieber or Cy Young Corey Kluber. That was basically it. Like, let's just hope those guys, we don't get them every single series, which we tended to do. So it was always like, we're confident in our ability to keep them 3 runs, 2 runs, but are we going to score 0? That was usually the issue. So as a pitcher, it was a matchup that fear wasn't a big thing, but it was like, there's not a lot of room for error here. But they're going to have to string hits against you and the park also was tough to hit homers in as well. So like, it was just one of those things. It's just a good place to pitch.
Yeah.
I am back, gentlemen. I am back. Let me ask you this.
Trevor
Would you
May.
be more surprised, Trevor, if the Guardians got in, superseding the Red Sox, or would you be more surprised if the Diamondbacks got in over the New York Mets?
I would say more surprised if the Guardians got in, simply because the teams that they're chasing, like the Mariners have won 10 or 11 of their last 12. Like the teams they're chasing are hot also. Mets, not hot. So, and then the Diamondbacks, they have maintained one of the most potent offenses in the major leagues, even with trading a bunch of guys at the deadline. And they're one of those teams you can't sleep on them because they're going to score a ton of runs. So for them to get hot right now doesn't surprise me as much. And the Mets, it's hard to deny at this point. And I am a guy who's always like, curses, aren't real, but like that's a slide of all slides. So, at this point, you can't be surprised if that did happen, though. The last series did look much better against a good Padres team. So we'll see. But the Diamondbacks making a push, not even remotely surprising to me.
All right. Well, I tell you what, the Mets have nobody to blame, you guys, but themselves. But AJ Pierzynski, who's not here today, still maintains they will absolutely get that 3rd wild card spot in the National League. All right, we're going to be right back. We're going to talk about Hunter Greene's complete game shutout. The Reds, they are still alive, albeit barely. They are still alive. And Max Fried's stellar performance as foul territory rolls on. Magic numbers always make me cringe because it makes me do math, but Bob Nightingale does the work for me here. The Milwaukee Brewers' magic number to win the NL Central is 4. The Brewers' magic number to clinch home field advantage throughout the National League postseason is 6. So we are getting close. Trevor, we haven't talked, at least you and I have not talked about it. What has impressed you the most about what Milwaukee's been able to accomplish this year?
They just always seem to be able to do this and be right there at the end or win the division. I think that, a lot's been said about how, fundamentally sound they are, how willing they are to bunt and take the extra base. And all of that is true. That's a testament to Pat Murphy and his crew. But I also think that it's a really cohesive group, that a good clubhouse to be in by all accounts. And they're basically optimizing all of their players. They're able to put anyone in any situation. It's built very similarly to like the Guardians teams of the past as well, and maybe even a little bit better. But like they put these teams together, and then they develop pitching at a level that I think might be the best out there. We got Freddie Peralta now has turned into a bona fide ace, even though Woodruff's stuff isn't the 100 that he used to throw. He's completely revamped himself as a pitcher and is just as effective. Like they have the guys with experience. They got the guys that they need to take those first 3 games in the series. And then their lineup is pesky and hard to strike out. Hard to strike out is so valuable these days because of the nature of dominant pitching. I always bring these guys up as an example, but it was my sophomore year in the major leagues facing the 2015 Kansas City Royals, who led the league or was the least amount of strikeouts in the league by like 10% less than anybody else. It was one of the most annoying teams to face, and they did not hit that many home runs. But you just knew that there was going to be a pitcher out there exhausted after throwing 100 pitches in 5 innings. Even if he throws a 0, it's a different type of tired. And they are that team, and they have the electric pitching to absolutely demoralize another team. Those 2 things together is just a recipe for having the record that they have.
Milwaukee Brewers 4 games. That's the magic number. And guys, the Blue Jays can actually clinch a postseason berth tonight. We know Milwaukee's already in, but the Blue Jays can clinch tonight with a win at Kansas City and losses by any two of the following three teams: the Tigers versus the Braves, the Red Sox, they're at Tampa Bay, and the Guardians, those pesky Guardians, they are at Minnesota. We are talking Hunter Greene and the Cincinnati Reds when we come back. I absolutely love this for Hunter Greene because obviously he's a kid that can shove. He has a huge future in this game, but he just, guys don't get to go the distance very much anymore, EK. He did it. He took a no-hit bid into the 7th of yesterday's game. He ends up going 9 innings, allowing just 1 hit, 9 punch-outs, and has a 2.74 ERA. The Reds probably not getting into the postseason, but Hunter Greene, there's a lot to like about him.
What? AJ's not on. We can say the Reds are getting in. Craig Mish even said the Marlins have a chance.
Oh, yes. I don't know about that. I like Craig, but I don't know about that.
Hunter Greene has been this guy. I was looking it up while you were talking. Everybody needs to guess how old Hunter Greene is. Go
23.
Ahead.
24.
He's 26. I thought you guys would have gone the other way. Hunter Greene is... Hunter Greene, you've heard about him. I'm not saying he's the Bryce Harper of pitchers, but you heard about him when he was drafted, throwing 100. Mm-hmm. He has now, in the last 2 years, become the pitcher that I think everybody thinks when you see a guy that comes out of the draft and he throws 100. He's a physical specimen. You talk to him. He's very smart. He's articulate. He's just great out there in the community, all that stuff. And you're like, this guy is almost like he's a can't miss. In the last 2 seasons, he's been can't miss. He had a 2.75 last year, first All-Star game, and he had 2.74 right now. He's becoming an ace. He's not an ace yet, but he's becoming an ace, and it's because he's able to locate his fastball. And the fastball is still 101. Last night it was 101 in the 9th inning. Like, this is something that you see. To me, I see a lot of DJ Johnson, Derek Johnson, the pitching coach for the Reds, really putting his fingerprint on him, not just saying, oh, great job, you throw a ball really hard, go throw it towards the plate and see what happens. He's been able to refine his mechanics and be able to locate these pitches now. To me, he's a guy that's built to go 9 innings. It's only his second career shutout, but it's also his second career complete game. So to me, I think he's a guy that moving forward can do this. And if the Reds are going to ever do anything this year or next year, I think he has to be the guy.
When guys take the wheel and see that it's on them to become that game 1 ace, I just love it. We've seen the same thing happen for the last couple of years with Tarek Skubal. Just say, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I figured something out, and give me the ball game 1, and let's do this thing. Hunter Greene is becoming that for the Reds, which is making me even more impatient to see them in a playoff series. And don't forget, he started the year maybe the hottest starting pitcher in the whole major leagues, including Zach Wheeler and Paul Skeens. He would have been in that conversation had he not had to miss some time there in the middle. So I've been big on him since he came up. The velocity's always been there. And I think you hit it right on the nail head. It's the command. It's the edges. One question mark about him was like, how does a guy with this stuff get hit as hard as he does? That seemingly isn't an issue when he's putting it where he wants to put it. So you add command to 100 miles an hour. There's just nothing anyone can do. And you just saw him just absolutely let it all out, put it all on the line there in the 9th inning, really just wanting to finish that game. Like, he wanted it. You could see by his reaction when he did pull it off. It was something he decided he was going to do. And once you can pull that off, it's a confidence booster, indefinitely into the future. And so I think we just saw before this probably, but we've seen a number 1. The Reds have their number 1 going in the future. Now it's just building around him.
longevity. And the only reason I ask you guys that is because he throws 200 miles an hour. And I realize that everybody does that now, but oftentimes when you have that kind of velo and everyone's throwing as hard as they can, as many times as they can, it ends up being Tommy John surgery or some sort of surgery. So he's your ace. You see that. And I know some folks will say teams don't care. We'll let you ride it out and blow your arm out. It's not our problem. But do you look at him as a long-term sign? Like, I guess if you were the president of baseball ops, or moreover, if you're the owner of the Reds, how long do you sign him to when he comes up for free agency or availability to sign him to a long-term deal?
They don't need to. They don't need to. They got him early. They already got him early. I think he's on a 6 years, $53 million, and they got an option all the way to 29, all the way to 2029. So
they got him for a steal then.
He's going to be a Red for a while. But I think it's smart on both ends, just because of all the things you just said. Teams don't care. Yes, they care. That sounds insensitive, but they don't care if you blow out. They want the best out of you out there. And that's why I think I see with him when guys take, Trevor May said earlier about Freddie P. When guys take the next step, after Freddie P's outing the other day, I had said it on the show here about how I see him dialing it up in big situations. I saw Hunter Greene do that last night. He dialed it up. That was a one-run game. He wasn't going complete game shutout 6-0. In my opinion, he's probably going to be sore tomorrow or today because it's right after his game. But he's got, like, he dials it up when he needs to, not just, all right, first pitch, see if you can hit it. Yeah, strike one, neat. It just seems like he's starting to cruise through games, and then when he gets in a little bit of trouble, you haven't seen this out of me. And I still have this in the tank in the ninth inning. So that is when guys take the next level.
It was so cool to see him go the distance. Anytime you can see a guy throw a complete game in today's day and age, it's pretty neat. Didn't throw a complete game, but man, he had the swing and miss. I'm talking about Max Fried of the New York Yankees, obviously. Went 7 innings, Trevor, 13 punchies, allowing only 3 hits, has a 2.92 ERA. We knew how good this guy was when he was with Atlanta, but he is everything that the Yankees could have hoped for. What did you take out of his outing?
He's just classic Max Fried. The guy throws every pitch that exists, and he's a guy who they need to be hot and be hot right now with him and Rodon and Heel. Like, they need their 3 guys ready to go 1, 2, 3 in the playoffs, assuming that it's a wild card berth. You got to be ready to go right away. So great timing for that. But absolutely filthy, throwing high 90s. Again, he is weird. I've heard a lot of hitters talk about this in terms of like how the ball comes out of his hand. Sometimes it's like it's spinning like a 2-seamer and it's a 4-seam, and sometimes it's like a cutter and he doesn't even really throw one of those really. So it's like he's just dip dive and dodging them up there and always has been. And then you add the type of stuff, the velo behind that, him striking out 13 guys doesn't surprise me one bit. I believe that's his 18th win. So you can't always say this. I think it's important. I think we focus on the negative a little bit too much sometimes, but you got your money's worth from signing Max Fried this offseason. I'd say that one has worked out so far.
I like the dodgeball reference, dip, dive, duck, dodge. The Yankees closed within 3 games of the Blue Jays, of course, who lost earlier in the day to the Rays. We're talking about yesterday. New York's edge over Houston, Seattle remained at 2 games for the top AL wildcard spot. 2 weeks ago, I said the Yankees weren't making the postseason. And now they're 3 games ahead in the wild card. Shows you what I know. But let's talk about Max Fried a little bit more. We talk so much, you guys, deservedly so, of what Aaron Judge does, Erik Kratz, who is your MVP in the American League. You've been very strict about that. We talk so much about what he means to the team. But what has Max Fried meant, especially in the absence of Garrett Cole? Luis Gil took a bit to get back. Carlos Rodon has been good this year for the Yankees, but Max Fried, what he's done, I think, means more considering they don't have Garrett Cole.
For sure. I mean, when you go out to sign a guy like Max Fried, you're like, whoa, can you imagine? Game 1, Garrett Cole, Max Fried, game 2, Carlos Rodon, game 3, Luis Gil, game 4. Like, that, they had dreams of this. Cole goes down. Rodon has stepped up immensely for this team. I think he does better when he's in a spotlight, like when it's like his turn to go. He's taking the next step for me. Gil's been down. They've had guys like Slittler and and Will Warren step up for him. So it's not what they thought the Yankees rotation was going to look like. So that's how important the Max Fried signing was. So many teams signed pitchers, and the pitchers didn't work out this year, but they didn't go for the Max Fried, the Corbin Burns, the trade for Garrett Crochet. They went for we'll just get a 1-year deal. We'll give this guy a 2-year deal, but we see a lot of upside. Yankees said, screw it. Who's the best pitcher available? He wants a bigger contract than David Price got. We'll give it to him. They broke that record for left-handers. Bang. Now they're paying the dividends. And I'm going to go back to 2009, the last time the Yankees won the World Series. What Max Fried is doing, don't compare the numbers, just compare how important it is and the fact that it's the first year that they signed this guy. The Yankees won the World Series the first year they signed CC Sabathia. He was the best available in the market. The Yankees are in line to make the playoffs, not according to Alanna Rizzo 2 weeks ago, but they signed Max Fried, the best available pitcher, and he is having that type of year that CC had, where the numbers aren't like, whoa, like a 1 ERA. He's out there every single day. Now he's leading the league in wins, which matters.
Yeah, Yankees, by the way, only have a 2-game lead over Houston and Seattle right now. I apologize. That was my mistake earlier. I said 3, but it's only a 2-game lead. Trevor May, do the New York Yankees have enough to get to the World Series and moreover win it?
Absolutely. I mean, they've been a deep team. They have, there's a couple question marks in the bullpen, but some guys have stepped up. At least the bridge side of things has been pretty strong with Fernando Cruz, and I know Leiter Jr. struggled a little bit there in the middle, but he has been better as of late. So they have enough depth. They have enough guys that can step up, and it's one of those lineups like, a Cody Bellinger. He's been, I think, under the radar very good this year. They have guys who can take over games, and they're always going to have the threat of the home run, and that is just something that, if it's timed right, can be just devastating in a playoff situation. We saw it happen last year. They're for the most part, most of the players are back, and guys who experienced it and had that experience under the belt. So yeah, it's one of those things. Like, if the Yankees make the playoffs, there is a path forward, because they probably have a handful of the best players in the league. They just always do, and that remains true. So it's all about getting hot at the right time. Though I think things have evened out since that 2009, and that's why it's been tough for them. But they still make the playoffs every year. So yes, I'll never count the Yankees out. Call that just a little bit of PTSD from my entire life. But they're always in it, and they always have a chance.
Spoken like a guy who has pitched the majority of his career in the American League. Any concern about the Yankee bullpen, Trevor May, Erik Kratz? If you take a look at the numbers recently, they're 29th as far as their ERA ranking since August 1st, being the worst in the majors, teetering between basically north of 5.5.
I think maybe they picked up some dudes that got worn out by their other teams. I mean, because their starting rotation is giving them some length, and their bullpen there's a lot of new guys. With Bednar stepping up, that is huge. I think Luke Weaver may have come back from the IL too soon. That was during this August 1st stint. And they have 9 games to figure out who is going to be the hottest going into the playoffs for them, because that's who they're going to ride. There's no going to, let's find a soft landing spot. Every time I turn on the Yes Network, that's what I hear. Oh yeah, Aaron Boone's looking for a soft landing spot here for Devin Williams, for Camilo Duvall, for who else? Like, it's basically Leiter Jr. and Bednar and Fernando Cruz if he's throwing strikes. You can't find a soft landing spot in the playoffs. You need, in my opinion, if you want to win it all, you need 4 or 5 guys that you can count on. If you want to hope, you have 3 guys. And right now, I think they're right in that 3 guy. I hope they all do well and we get 7 innings from Max Fried.
A win on Friday, guys, puts the Bombers 20 games over 500 for the first time this season. So it's not like they're not winning games, but they definitely need to play more fundamentally sound baseball. Obviously, pitch, defense, you guys know it better than anybody else, having been in this league as long as you have. Really quick, Trevor, before we get to break, we've had this conversation a lot. It's been the topic du jour, if you will. Who's your AL MVP? Judge? Raleigh?
It's the boring answer. It's very likely Judge. I think things needed to happen, or still, I mean, it's still possible. I think if there's, in this last week, major heroics from Cal Raleigh that in a Mariner sweep of the Houston Astros to give him the division, like if something like that happens, or he somehow gets to 60 homers, or even crazier, he's hit multi-homers in 10 games this year. If he just rattled 3 more off and got to close to Judge's record, I think that story might push him forward. But just the offensive differences are he's just 80 points ahead of him in batting average. I understand the batting average isn't our end-all be-all statistic, but like almost 100 points, that's just too much in my opinion. But you never know. There's something called voter fatigue. Sometimes you just want to see a different option if it's really close. This has happened a lot in the history of baseball. So, but I think just in terms of just general, straight up, most valuable player, I mean, it's just really hard to say it's not Aaron Judge every single year. So he's probably the front runner if we're going objectively on statistics. But right, that's not how humans work. No, so we'll see.
I get it. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I mean, everybody, of course, who wants the other guy is going to say that they made the wrong decision, but I completely understand where you're coming from. All right, much more to come on Foul Territory. What TV quote did Brandon Nimmo of the Mets drop during a post-game interview yesterday? We get into that in That's What He Said next. Don't look now, guys, but the Dodgers pitching staff looks pretty good. Bob Nightingale, the Dodgers starting rotation continues to thrive, giving up only 1 hit the entire game, winning 2-1 over the Giants. They boost their lead to 3 games over the Padres. The Padres lost yesterday. So the magic number for Los Angeles, guys, is 6. Trevor May, I'll ask you, do the Dodgers have the best starting rotation right now? Season ends today. Game 1 starts tomorrow. Who has a better rotation?
Well, we're going to talk about the big 3 in Snell, Glasnow, and Yamamoto. Mm-hmm. That is not one that you want to run into. I would say it. Yeah, I'll give him a yes. I think that those 3 guys dialed in, which by all accounts they are. That's not someone that's a buzzsaw. That's a potential buzzsaw. You got to get to. You want to get through one guy usually, and then try to work your way. Feel better about facing that second, third guy. That's not the case here. So I would say, position-wise, for a playoff series, they're just as good, probably the best.
Erik, I think it's fair to say that they are in the National League, but is Seattle's rotation better than the Dodgers?
No. I mean, if you take Seattle's pitchers' best years, yeah.
Right now.
No. They are literally what the tweet said, unhittable. Now, how is this going to continue to translate when Will Smith comes back and is the main catcher? Because I give a lot of credit. Ben Rortvedt, who will be on the show next week, has come in here and absolutely put the golden fingers down. I guess they don't put fingers down anymore. He's hit the golden buttons. This starting rotation has not gotten hit. I don't even care about strikeouts. Yamamoto, I think, was getting squeezed, in his last outing. So I sit there and I go, he's still able to do this when the strike zone last night was like this big. Like, these guys are getting outs in the zone and they're getting them to chase late. They are hitting on all cylinders. I don't think there's a starting rotation that's close right now.
Benny Rose coming on the show next week. You guys got Ben Rortvedt. He's a Dodger legend playing out of his mind right now.
All of his muscles. All of his muscles.
All of the muscles. All right, much more to come, of course, on Foul Territory. We're barely in half an hour into the first hour of our show. Ben's coming on Tuesday. We will be back right after this.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
You saw it the other day, guys, when Blake Snell, did not want to get taken out of the game. Rhett Bollinger reporting that Yusei Kikuchi was frustrated that he was taken out of the game in the 6th. All year I've been grinding for the team, right? So in that spot, I wanted to be trusted a little bit more. And I felt like I wasn't trusted in that moment. Of course, he said this through his interpreter, Yusuke Oshima. You want this, though, don't you, Erik? You want a guy that doesn't want to be taken out of the game. Give me the ball. Let me stay in the game. Let me get out of my own traffic if I caused it. Let me fix my own mess.
Yeah, and maybe he's been watching his bullpen give it up like they did last night when his fellow starters get out there. I think a guy, he's 34 now. I think he definitely deserves the chance to get himself out of his own mess, especially in a game where they're out of it. Like the Angels are out of it. They were in this game. They're out of it for the season. I don't know. I think there's something to be said, but I also know that the Angels just haven't figured out how to win games, and you have to be able to trust that the guy you're bringing in is going to get the job done. He didn't last night. So I applaud Kikuchi for saying what he said.
I agree. I mean, you want a guy that wants to take the ball. Trevor, is there a situation there where sometimes you have to save a guy from himself?
Yeah, absolutely. This wasn't one of those situations. I'm fairly certain Yusei Kikuchi is the highest paid guy in their rotation as well. Like,
so they're saving themselves.
He's the vet. He's been around. If anyone deserves to be given a little bit more leash there, it's him. And I understand his frustration because he does look around. He sees I don't have confidence that this game's going to be locked down the way that I would prefer it to be. But, even beyond that, we're out of it. We're out of it again. And we need to stop acting as if we got to we're playing the game by the numbers every moment here right now, because it just doesn't matter. Me being able to get through this is entirely plausible. And even if you're not confident from a number standpoint that I can do it, does it really matter? No. So it's I'm always for guys trying to go get that extra out, because if you're able to do it, that could mean pay dividends long-term in a confidence way, especially young guys. I want young guys the opportunity to get out of their own innings more often. So I'm definitely in that camp as well. I just think it's, in terms of development or just building confidence and feeling good about how you're ending the year, it just goes a long way, just getting that one extra out or getting out of a tough situation when you're tired. It's really important for pitchers to be able to do that.
Two completely different scenarios. Milwaukee Brewers, of course, have already clinched their division. They're trying to figure out seeding as far as that is concerned. And, of course, the Los Angeles Angels have been eliminated once again, have not made the postseason, guys, since 2011. Let's talk a bit about the Mets beating the Padres. I'm sorry?
2014.
2014, 11 years. That's what it was.
Yes.
11 years, not 2011. My bad. The Mets beat the Padres. Rookie Jonah Tong went 5 innings with 1 run. He had 8 punch-outs yesterday. Again, a lot of teams at this point in the season look into the young arms, Erik, to either get them into the promised land or continue to get further into the promised land. What do you like about Tong?
I mean, just the fact that he is not afraid to throw the ball in the strike zone. He was facing a lineup that, on paper, looks pretty scary. Right now, I don't think they're taking their big league wood up to the plate, but it's definitely a team that is a scary-looking lineup for a young pitcher, and he attacked the zone yesterday. Obviously, everyone's going to say, oh, is it Tim Lincecum? It's unbelievable. Tim Tong. I've seen, the Mets fans had tongs out. They brought tongs to the game every strikeout. So it was creative. The Mets fans, they need gimmicks, to keep themselves in this season. But I just can't believe how many rookies we've seen step up in big situations, situations where teams – normally a rookie comes up at this time of year for a playoff contending team, and you say, man, we really need this guy to step into our 5th spot, our 4th spot. Nolan McLean is pitching game 1 for the Mets if they make the playoffs. Jonah Tong, he's going to have to put together another start. I think Sproat and him didn't do what McLean did, but what McLean did was epic. I mean, Trey Yusavage up north in the 6th. They don't even need a starting pitcher. And he stepped up and showed man, you got to get some innings out of this guy in the playoffs. Like, it is a rare thing. And I always bring up Brandon Finnegan in 2014, because when you're a rookie, you are going through everything that rookies go through normally, where you're like, which side is our clubhouse on? How much do I pay clubhouse dues? Do I have to carry the beer onto the plane? Like, what do I have to do? And then they're going out there and just absolutely dealing. And I loved to see what Brandon Finnegan did. So if I'm running an organization, I'm doing this. If you look at a guy and he has stuff like Tong has, I'm throwing him out there.
Yeah, you're looking at these guys too, Trev, and you're looking at them back in the day when September call-ups happened, and you could bring up 972 people, and the clubhouse was like everyone smashed together. Sometimes you just needed guys to come up and give your starters a blow. Sometimes you just needed an extra arm. You needed to give your bullpen guy a rest or whatever it was. Now, if they're being called up, they're expected to get into the game and they're expected to produce. And they're looking at these young guys, the Peyton Tolleys of the world, the Earlys of the world, the Tongs, the Yusavage in Toronto, who's probably going to come out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays in the postseason. Does that surprise you that they're looking at these guys as being key productive members of what they're trying to accomplish? It almost seems like that particular script has shifted, where you're not just a body anymore. You're not just a warm-bodied individual. You're expected to produce.
Yeah, I think that's a product of the rosters going from 40 possibly to 28. If you have a spot on this team, we're going to need you to play. You have to play, and you have to play regularly, and that's why it's usually a starting pitcher, 6-man rotation. I think that the league is getting younger and younger and younger, so we're seeing rookies kind of become bigger roles earlier when they come up. But rookies coming up and being successful has a long history of playing a huge role in a September playoff push, or even a good run into the playoffs. Corey Seager came on and went crazy, and then became a big reason for the Dodgers' success that year. We had Evan Carter as early as 2023 coming up in September. I was there for his debut, and then he became a huge part of that team on their run. Like, this is something that always happens, and if you get young guys who are able to do it immediately, like, what is the Mets' biggest issue? Starting pitching. Like, they lost everybody. They lost everybody to start the year, and then lost everybody again halfway through the year. So they needed guys to come step up. They've had McLean, who is going to start game one. He better. And then you got Tong and David Peterson. This depth is huge. And for them they come in and they know that. Like, they know that they're going to have to throw meaningful innings in order to pull this thing off. And knowing that right away, instead of being like, I don't know if I'm going to be called on to do this because there's 50 guys here. That's a big difference. It's easier to make that jump when it's kind of like you look around, you're like, oh, it's me. Like that. Sometimes you got to be thrown into the fire, and that's when you see guys step up or not and start their careers out well. And it's nice to see so many young guys really stepping up.
It really is. We teased it off the top of this segment, so we got to get to it. But Brandon Nimmo had some funny comments. Abby Mistrako tweeted, Brandon Nimmo said, "You miss all of the shots you don't take," when talking about his home run. When asked if he was quoting Wayne Gretzky or Michael Scott of The Office, he said he was quoting Brandon Nimmo. He did a little bit of a Ricky Henderson there, talking about the third person, right? He said Brandon Nimmo had that quote. So interesting stuff from the Mets. Again, we'll see. Hanging on for dear life in that final spot in the National League wild card. Well, Trevor wanted Cade Povich on the show, Baltimore Orioles, and he is coming up next. He is checked in. We're going to get him on momentarily when Foul Territory rolls on. All right, before we get to Cade coming up here momentarily, the Mariners win, guys, back tied for first in the AL West. This whole AL West situation is so unbelievable. Seattle's now tied atop the AL West with Houston, 84-69. The two clubs open a crucial 3-game set beginning today at Daikin Park that will not only determine the playoff tiebreaker, but could decide the division title as well. EK, which way does this go?
One team's going to win the first game, and then the next 2 games, another team's going to win the next 2 games. That's how it's going to go. This is going to be must see. This really, I see the Mariners taking this series. Why? I have no idea. everything about the last 8 years of baseball should tell me, nope, the Astros are going to do it. But in my mind, I'm going the Mariners taking this series. I just feel like their pitching is going to line up to be able to attack these guys. I feel like Cal Raleigh would love to play in a tiny park like Daikin. And I think they're going to be putting Isaac Paredes in the lineup here at some point this weekend. And he's not going to be able to run at all. He's not going to be – I just feel like things are lining up for the Mariners to do it. So history will tell you I'm wrong.
Trevor, he was talking about Isaac Paredes not being able to run. Yordan Alvarez probably not going to be back until the postseason, but that's a guy you don't need him to run because he can hit home runs. Are they bringing back Isaac too quickly? I mean, I guess they don't have a choice, or do they? Oh, his mic is. No, do they have a choice, Erik? Do they have a choice?
No, they don't have a choice. They need that offense. But again, guys just keep stepping up. If it means bringing, I get there's no direct correlation between Isaac Paredes and Zach Cole, but like they just find guys. They find guys to step in. They put them in situations that have success, and dudes step up and do it. Like that's just what the Astros do. Isaac Paredes is a better hitter than anything they have on the bench. So yes, you need him in there, but they haven't needed him since he's been gone. They haven't needed Yordan since he's been gone. It's a crazy anomaly that doesn't make baseball sense because all they do is win, 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 no matter what.
I think that's a song. Do you go like this? Can I get all I do is win, win, win? Oh, no. Okay.
No matter what. Yep.
No matter what.
You got it.
And they stay there.
You got
and
it.
They stay there.
You're
All right. Cade Povich of the Baltimore Orioles coming up next. We'll talk to him right after this. And the aforementioned Cade Povich joining us now. We appreciate it very much. This is a man who should be tired because he has logged the third most innings on Baltimore's staff, yet he's a young gun, so maybe he's not tired, or I don't know. Cade, thank you for being with us. Appreciate the time. Trevor really wanted you on the show. How's it going?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me on.
Go ahead, T-May.
I got to preface this by saying Mr. Kevin Brown up in the booth has been keeping me up to date on your game preparation methods, which we'll get into in just a moment. But first thing I wanted to ask you, I want to ask you about a teammate, Trevor Rogers, and the things that he has been doing this year, because I don't think people understand how good Trevor Rogers has been this year. He's got a 1.45 ERA in 100 innings, and he is a fellow lefty. So what, if anything, have you been able to learn by just watching Trevor Rogers throw the ball?
Yeah, I think if you just watch kind of last year when we first got him and the struggles that he went through, and then, you know, spending this offseason trying to get back to the all-star caliber pitcher that he was, starting in AAA and then coming up to make a start in Boston, just absolutely shoving. I think he was the additional man for a doubleheader, so he went back down for take a couple more weeks and then came up and it's just been on a roll ever since. And it's like even the outings that you think he might be getting into a little bit of trouble, he just finds a way to work out of it. And for a guy to have been able to see kind of last year what his year was like, and see the off season and even the beginning of this season, it's been remarkable seeing how he's turned things around, how he's kind of refound himself. I think he talked about confidence being a big thing, him getting that back. I mean, I've been able to learn a lot from him just in that aspect alone.
All right, yeah, lefties got to stick together. You guys are always off on your own island. I don't understand it. But I got to ask about my favorite position on the field, Samuel Basallo. How is it for you being here all year, and then you bring in a rookie catcher, and then you also had to bring in other, like you guys have gone through a couple catchers this year with Gary going down, with Adley going down. How hard is it? And I'm not going to ask about Luke Jackson. I'm going to ask about the fact that not Luke Jackson. Is it Luke Jackson? I'm forgetting. Is that
Alex Jackson?
Alex Jackson. I was saying a pitcher, and so apologize to Alex for me. But with Samuel Basallo, you have so much like prospect status all around him. As a pitcher, y'all could honestly probably care less about how he hits. And that's his like name tag. That's his calling card when he gets to the big leagues. How hard of a transition has it been for him? And how hard of a transition is it for you as a pitcher, knowing what you need to do, but then have to get it across to Samuel Basallo as your catcher for 9 innings?
Yeah, honestly, I think for him, it really hasn't been that much of an adjustment. I think especially for his age, he's very smart. Our pitching staff, our pitching coaches have all worked with him a great amount on, trying to catch him up to speed with how certain guys might set up different situations. Um, but like yesterday was the first time I had him behind the plate for me, and um, you know, asking questions in the meeting about, how we should approach different guys, um, adjusting setup to certain pitches if, bouncing my curveball early, adjusting kind of the starting spot for that in order to get it to land in the zone. The bat's definitely there. The bat's special, but the way he's able to catch and learn kind of on the fly, I'm sure it's pretty difficult. Bunch of guys you haven't seen behind the plate. I'm sure he caught some of us a little bit in spring training, but to be in AAA for half the year and then come up here and be able to adjust and catch guys he hasn't had a lot of experience catching yet. It's really cool, been really special to see just how he's developed from that aspect.
Okay, talking about preparing for games, and this is really what I wanted to get into. And now I'm realizing I had a photo of the types of things that you started doing recently in the last month or so, or maybe a little bit over a month, to prepare for games, to get ready to face a lineup. Keys for you, which obviously communicating these to Sam and to Adley behind the plate is probably part of that. But take us through a little bit of what that preparation or what changes you've made in that preparation and how it helps you.
Yeah, for me, I think early on it was difficult trying to figure out, how to game plan for yourself. I think it's easy to kind of look at a lot of different things. You try to look at where can I go to get swing and miss? Where can I go to get chase? Where can, maybe a guy watches the pitch in a certain location more often than not. Uh, and in a sense, for some guys, that can be a lot of information to try and hold for a whole lineup. For me, I think I found myself getting a little mixed up between certain guys. I would prepare and then I would kind of be in the middle of one guy and be thinking on the mound, all right, was this the pitch that I needed to throw him, or is this a different guy? Um, and so that led me to kind of what I'm doing now. I think I watched it might have been a short or a video that you had on YouTube talking about Baseball Savant's new swing path and kind of how you can see the average swing path of a guy. And I've really just kind of gone off of that. It's easy for me to remember if a guy has a steeper swing or a flatter swing. And that's honestly been kind of a cheat for me as far as remembering, if I need to go above the zone on a guy or if I need to go breaking balls more away, more inside. So I thank you for that. That definitely helped me out a lot.
That's awesome. Do you feel good about that, Trevor? Look at you shaping the young minds.
It definitely has nothing to do with why we got you in on here. Definitely didn't know that at all.
Marking my little X's on the zone.
I love it, man. I'm glad I could help.
Okay, let me ask you this. You make your first opening day roster this year with the Baltimore Orioles. As I mentioned at the top of the interview, you've logged a lot of innings. How has Cade Povich grown over the course of this season? Has it been a massive, bell curve in terms of growth, What do you look back at now and it would have told yourself on opening day that you've learned over the course of the season as we sit here on September 19th?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is really just to take kind of each moment in stride. I think for me personally, it was a lot of trying to maybe do too much early on, whether that be last year or at the start of this year. And, um, I think when you narrow it down to kind of the simple things that the best guys do is get ahead, get to two strikes, and then try and get on to the next hitter as soon as possible after that. I think that helps out pitchers a lot. I think you see batting averages and um, a lot of stuff goes in the pitcher's favor when you're able to get ahead, and then it also helps the offense a lot. When you're able to go out and have a quick inning and uh, get the bats back in the dugout and kind of get on a roll. That's kind of a big thing in order to trying to obviously help yourself out, but help your teammates out as well on the hitting side. So um, I think I've done a lot better of slowing things down and not trying to necessarily be somebody I'm not. I think that's also something that's very easy. You can struggle and then try and look for answers by trying to be somebody else because you think what you're doing is not working. But I think taking a step back and just remembering what got you here has kind of helped me out a lot more recently.
You guys as a team playing spoiler? Are you guys playing spoiler down the stretch here? You got 5 more games, I think, with the Yankees, or 6 more games. Do you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, we know where we're at, and so we're just trying to win as many games as possible down the stretch, and uh, the race is close, so trying to see if we can, maybe make things interesting in that aspect.
Cade, we appreciate it. Best of luck. You are a big leaguer, my friend, making that opening day roster for the Baltimore Orioles, and it's only going to get better from here. Just keep paying attention to Trevor May, and you will be fine. Thanks for taking the time to be with us on Foul Territory. Have a good day.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on. Have a good one.
All right, Cade Povich of the Baltimore Orioles. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. We're being joined by former catcher AJ Ellis. He weighs in on Clayton Kershaw's announcement. We'll be right back. Guys, I don't know what you think about this, but to me, this stinks. Apple TV gets the game tonight for Kershaw's last regular season start of his career. And they're not simulcasting it on Sportsnet LA. That bums me out.
Big fail. I know they didn't plan this. I get it.
No, they didn't. They didn't, to be fair.
Big fail. I mean, I guess this is why Apple pays this kind of cash. I guess their answer to that is, okay, we'll just sign up for Apple TV. Sign up for our subscription. It's like when they got the Amazon games for football last year. Amazon had just a massive increase in subscriptions. But it sucks.
I understand why they do it, but it's unfortunate. It's like, I remember when I first started working for Sportsnet LA, and it wasn't widely distributed, and most folks missed out on Vin Scully's last year televising and broadcasting. So this is just a bummer. I get it. It's not Apple's fault. It's not Sportsnet LA's fault. It's just the timing issue. But this stinks. Blake Harris, obviously tweeting that a big chunk of fans are not going to be able to watch the game. I mean, that's a bummer, right? I mean, Trevor, I know you respect Clayton Kershaw, obviously. I think we all do. But to not be able to see his last start at home in a regular season, hopefully he gets some postseason innings, but you'd want to be able to see every pitch that Clayton throws tonight.
Yeah, it stinks. It's unfortunate. And I mean, maybe I don't know how you avoid this other than Clayton announces it a month ago. I really don't know how you can do it. I don't really blame anyone for dropping the ball on it. It's unfortunate. But it does look like he's going to have an opportunity to throw in the postseason again. And hopefully that is a home game. But I think we would all rather not have to cross our fingers if that happens. So
yeah, no question about that. No, and Clayton, in true Clayton fashion, didn't want to announce it early, I believe, because he doesn't want the pomp and circumstance and 29 other teams giving him all the stuff. So that's why he announced it today. AJ Ellis knows Clayton Kershaw better than anybody. We're going to talk to him next. What's up, Erik? It looks like you have something to say.
I was just going to say, he got the legacy pick for the All-Star game, though, didn't he?
He did.
Max Scherzer and Verlander didn't. Do you think they turned it down?
I don't know. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but we'd have to ask him. That's a good question. AJ, coming up next. AJ Ellis is kind enough to take time away from his duties with the San Diego Padres. They are in Chicago to be with us to talk about and reflect on a career of his very good friend, Clayton Kershaw. AJ Ellis is probably one of the only people that when he got traded away, I was actually emotionally bummed about it when he left Los Angeles. AJ, welcome. What was your immediate reaction to Clayton's announcement that he will, in fact, retire at the end of the season?
It's good to see you, Alanna. It's been a long time. Miss you. It's what a career. It's been being able to watch him in my post-playing career, watch his starts, watch the way he's battled through, the resiliency he's shown. I've just been in awe of him, and I'm glad that he and Ellen and the family and he's in the Dodger organization have came to this realization. I've seen some people thinking, and I saw Freddie's quotes that, he thought, Clayton would just stop showing up. He's just that's the kind of guy he is. But baseball, the Dodger fans, we all deserve the chance to honor him and celebrate him tonight. And it's going to be a special day. I did just hear the news about Apple TV covering the game, and that's a bummer. So I actually think because of that, he should actually come back and pitch in 2026.
And then you'd have to do a whole nother day of retirement speeches for him. Look, you're going to go on like 100 different shows. Tell us something, because this is a player-to-player show. Tell us something that we don't know about Clayton that you're not going to talk about when people ask, oh, what's his favorite color when you go on the other corny shows.
Oh man, that's a good one, Erik. I don't know what stays in the clubhouse and what's able for public consumption, but no, it's in a world where as a former player yourself, and Trevor, you'll understand this as well. Baseball, the grind is relentless, and we all have that time where day game after a night game, maybe you got a little overserved the night before on the team playing. Not feeling great, had a tough morning with the kids at the house. Clayton's consistency and his inability to ever take the out when we all take it. We all turn that 3-setter into a 2-setter. We all turn that 45-pitch bullpen into a 20-pitch bullpen because I'm just not feeling. He never cut a corner. And that consistency that he showed was like just that model that he had. I was in awe on that. I think all of his teammates were in awe on that. And it's something that is what stood the test of time for his ability to be consistent and to dominate on the field.
Was there ever a point where you because he was dominant, like when kids go back and look at his baseball reference, he was dominant. Was there ever a point where you're like, I know he should throw a fastball here or throw his curveball, but I just want to see if he's this good. We got a 2-run lead. I want to see if I can just throw this. Was there ever a point where you were like kind of like a heat check?
No, what's funny is everything with him was so scripted out, like in our pregame meetings. And like I said earlier today when chatting a little bit, I think both of us were so fortunate to come up with, Rick Honeycutt and Brad Ausmus, who really taught us, what it was like to prepare, what it was like to game plan. And, Clayton took that to heart. And so, his ability to prepare and get ready for, an opponent, and that conversation we'd have 2 hours before that first start, he was so detailed with what he wanted to do on the mound. It didn't waver, and it was not – the scoreboard did not matter. The score of the game did not matter. It was his get outs as fast as he possibly could. His job was to throw innings, go deep in the game, and, that was his goal every single season he took the mound was to lead the National League in innings pitched. That's all he wanted to do was lead the league in innings pitched because that was the mark of effectiveness. And so having a game plan, having a scouting report, having a competitiveness, having an ability to game manage – all played into that ability to really become, the ace that he was for such a long period of time.
There's a couple of images that are just emblazoned in my brain. One is very doctored. It's you and Clayton coming out of the bullpen before a Clayton start, but it's like behind you guys was just this wall of fire because it was such an unbelievable battery, and the relationship that you two had was second to none. And I'll also never forget when Clayton threw his arms up in the air. You were caught, you caught the no hitter. You embraced. You guys had such a special relationship, and I said at the top of this that I was so emotionally upset when they traded you, but so was Clayton. And I remember the interview after the AJ Ellis trade, and Clayton was emotional. And Clayton does not show his emotions to the public often. Can you speak to his relationship and what you guys meant to each other?
Well, yeah. To be able to be 60 feet away in your workplace from, the most dominant, pitcher of a generation, someone who's at the top of the world in what their craft is, and that for that person to also be your best friend, I don't know of anyone else who can have that experience. And, we came up in the Dodger system together. I was a couple years ahead of him in draft, but he flew past me along the minor league way and in player development as he, on the trajectory he was on. But by the time we caught back up, it was, we were just connected. We were in a cab together every morning or every day to the ballpark. We were just on the rail together, hanging out. At the time I was not the everyday catcher. We had some really talented guys in Russ Martin, Rod Barajas, and others. So I was, my job was to catch his bullpens, to be out and do his conditioning with him, just to kind of give him a partner to train with. And in the midst of that time spent together, we built a bond, and we built some common. So we shared some common interests with faith and with our family and our competitiveness and our desire for team success to surpass individual success. And it's what's kind of kept us connected. It's what's kept us together for so long. It's been wonderful, in my post-playing career, even in my role with the Padres, to continue to be a sounding board for him and to just help walk through, this final act of his career with him. And, our friendship is beyond special to me compared to what it was to be his teammate. And I'm glad that we'll continue to be, great lifelong friends, following his career.
Did he discuss with you signing back with the Dodgers? And if he did, how close was he actually to? Because you said he's you're a confidant for him, somebody you can talk to. Was there a chance he would have gone to play for the Rangers?
No, I think it's fair to say, and Clayton would even admit it, that's definitely something that had always been on the radar as a potential final type of a final destination for his career, to get back home, to wake up every day, take his kids to school. I think there was a lot of attractiveness to that. But I think there was the pull towards being a one uniform guy, the pull towards, continuing to play in postseasons and compete for that was too strong. And, I think, he doesn't like to talk legacy. He doesn't like to talk about his place in history, but he's also aware of it. And he's also aware of what he means to the Dodger fan base, what he means in the legacy of Sandy Koufax and Fernando Valenzuela and then Clayton Kershaw, of these left-handed, just generational people, talents, and who have transcended Dodger baseball, transcended and become Southern California icons. And it's just, I think he realized, a few years back that, whenever it was time to conclude his Dodger career, that was also going to coincide with the end of his baseball career.
Clayton, and you just locked it in for me. He's always seemed like a guy who's pretty understated and doesn't love the spotlight, even though he has had so many moments in that spotlight. And for catching him being a friend for so long, what's a quintessential behind the scenes conversation moment, something that may seem understated in the moment, but that just demonstrates what type of pitcher and athlete and competitor that Clayton Kershaw is?
So you guys have been in the dugout during no-hitters before, and as the game starts getting deeper and deeper in the game, we've all seen the scene where the starting pitcher is sitting alone and no one is talking to him, and everybody's kind of allowing him to, no one wants to go and break the concentration or jinx the no-hitter and talk to the starting pitcher. And, during his no-hitter in 2014 against the Rockies, we're getting towards the later innings of the game and no one's talking, and but we're getting towards the bottom of the lineup, and we realize the Rockies are definitely going to start deploying some right-handed hitters. They have a pitcher spot coming up, there's going to be some pinch hitters coming up. And so Rick Honeycutt and myself are over there kind of staring at the lineup card, kind of talking through what's going to happen. And Clayton, all of a sudden we feel this presence sneak up behind us. And it's between both, and Clayton says, who are they going to pinch hit? And neither Rick or I want to talk. Neither Rick and I want to say a word to Clayton in this moment. And it's like, and before we say anything, he goes, I think it's going to be Culberson. I think Culberson's going to pinch hit. We're just going to pitch the strengths, right? Pitch the strengths. And I think I just said, yeah, pitch the strengths. And he turned around and Rick Honeycutt said, you talked. You just ruined it. And I was like, oh, God, did I just screw this up? Well, thank God Charlie swung at a first pitch fastball and popped up to Yusei Kikuchi, who made the only two-handed catch in the history of his career. And was able to get that out to close off the second out of the ninth inning.
It should have been a perfect game, AJ.
I don't want to go there. Come on.
Does that keep you up at night? All right. I'll go there. AJ Ellis, it is a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. You were so kind to do it last minute for us. We knew it was coming. It doesn't seem real, but a lot of unbelievable innings thrown with you behind the dish. Thanks, my friend. See you soon.
Yeah, great to see you guys, and we all get to celebrate tonight. And yeah, I hope he gets another playoff moment as well. Then we can celebrate that as well. It's been great. So thank you guys.
All right, AJ Ellis, we appreciate it very much. What a great story from AJ. Those are the things you want to hear for sure. Trevor May is going to weigh in on what he thinks about Kersh next. All right, BetMGM brings you these Thursday locks. We all bet on Max Fried, so that was a good thing, the over on 5.5 Ks. But AJ also had over on 7.5 runs between the Giants and the Dodgers. I did not agree with that. I was right. It was plus 210. So he loses, but EK and I win. So here's the money bags as far as that's concerned as we get you caught up on this Friday. Trevor is up 120. Pap is up 345. Pap is also on a plane on his way to Boston tonight. He's feeling much better. I am down 270. EK's down, but he was down a whole hell of a lot. He was down under 1,000. And AJ Pierzynski with yesterday's loss is at negative 137 as well. Do we have locks today, guys? What is it for you, Trevor May? What's your lock of the day?
Give me Max Scherzer, money line. Toronto Blue Jays take the W. I don't even know who they're playing right now. I can't remember. But they're
Toronto is playing. Well, they're not playing Tampa Bay because the Red Sox are playing Tampa. I don't know who Toronto's playing. None of us know who Toronto's playing. What's wrong with us? You would think that we would know these things.
The Royals. They're going into Kansas City.
They're playing the Royals. They're playing the Royals.
Kansas City, yes.
They have a chance to clinch.
I knew that.
I love it. Anytime you have a chance to clinch, you got to bet on that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What's your lock of the day, Erik?
Anytime somebody goes back to the team that traded them, that's a lock. Dylan Cease, I'm getting plus 100 for over 6.5 strikeouts. I'm taking the over. Dylan Cease goes back to Chicago. The Padres need a good start from somebody, and he's about to punch about 100 tickets in the game. That would actually be a record, so I'm just going for 7 or more, putting out 200 to win 200.
Okay, so is that called an even bet if you put 200 to win 200?
Even money. No. Even money. Plus 100 is even money. Yep.
Even money. Okay, appreciate the knowledge. I'm learning all about this betting stuff. Thank you, BetMGM, for being a part of the show. All right, coming up, we're going to get Trevor May's take on Clayton Kershaw. Wow, what a career. 18 years in the same uniform. We'll be right back. Major League Baseball's most interesting man. There are several to choose from, but the man of the hour certainly is Clayton Kershaw. Announcing his retirement at the end of the 2025 season. He announced it yesterday at Dodger Stadium. Tonight, will be Clayton Kershaw's final start at home in the regular season. Hopefully we see some postseason innings from Kersh. Erik and I got to talk about it at length yesterday when we heard the news. But Trevor, I'm interested in your take. I mean, we knew this was coming. He's almost 40 years old, 18 seasons with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but it's still hard to swallow that Clayton Kershaw is not going to be there next year as a player. What do you think about when you think about Kersh?
He is we throw around like once in a generation style like type players. I'd say he's one of a kind. He's top 5 all time for me. The things the guy has done in the scope of baseball over 150 years is absolutely incredible. 3 Cy Youngs in 4 years, a career 2.5 ERA. I was happy if I got a 2.5 in a week. Like that's incredible. When people think of Clayton Kershaw, they don't necessarily think of like big strikeout pitcher, but in terms of strikeouts per 9, he is above Nolan Ryan, Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling. Like these are guys we remember punching everybody out, and Clayton Kershaw's better than them at that. One interesting thing that I love looking at, and especially all-time pitcher or players in general, is all of their kind of obscure like splits, like home, away. What inning was the best. One thing that strikes me but doesn't surprise me about Clayton Kershaw, same exact guy home and away. Like that's usually not how it plays out for guys full career. He's got like a 2.53 at home and a 2.55 on the road for his whole career, which is incredible. And you know what his best inning is? His most dominant inning for his career? The eighth inning. When he throws in the 8th, he was unhittable, untouchable, and he did it 160 times. So just a few of the little nuggets. But if you go on his baseball reference page, you go to the splits thing, you'll be there for an entire day just digging around. And then you add in the fact, consummate professional, does it the right way. Baseball is this guy's North Star. He shows up the field, the first one there, he's the last one to leave, loves being around everybody, hangs out with the guys, talks ball. It's just when you think of baseball and how it's supposed to be experienced and lived, and what bar or what holding yourself to high standards looks like, it's Clayton Kershaw. So it is sad that we're coming to the end here, and all things do, but I'm glad he stayed with the same team and didn't have to negotiate that with himself, because it sounds like it's something he wanted for his whole career, and then he gets to go out on his own terms. All things that anybody who retires hopes they get to do, and I'm ecstatic for him and how he's been able to have his career and then also end it.
Very few get to go out on top the way Clayton Kershaw is doing. Erik, you heard AJ Ellis talk about the fact that Kershaw was so grateful, and what mattered to him the most was the amount of innings pitched, right? Going deep into the game, eating up innings. You heard Trevor talk about it. He was the best in the 8th inning. But you look at the accolades, if we can throw up that graphic once again, what impressed you the most over the course of the 18-year career? Is it the amount of strikeouts, over 3,000? Is it the Cy Youngs? Is it the MVP? Is it the ERA title? What impresses you the most on a list of really unbelievable accomplishments?
Besides the person that he is, I mean, him and AJ shared not just a field, but their faith. And the fact that he's raised his family in this game, that's always, first and foremost, the most impressive thing for me. But if you're going to pick like one type of like era of Clayton Kershaw, his entire career, guys always doubted him. And it's like, you're going to see some regression from him. He's going to start struggling. He never did that. But the most impressive thing for me, when he was hitting free agency, I think it was 2013 to 15, somewhere there. I think he hit it in 14, was free agency. I saw somebody wrote an article about, and obviously this is 11 years ago, about how his first 6 years in the big leagues were the most dominant first 6 years of anybody in baseball history. Anybody, ever. So we talk about arbitration, we talk about all that stuff. Like, you're always compared to the guys of the past. When you look at that first 6 years of work that he put in, he was the most dominant. That really encapsulates what he was as a pitcher during that time. And that's so impressive to me.
Trevor, where does Clayton Kershaw rank on the Dodgers, in the Dodgers lore? Where is he? There's been a lot of great players go through those doors.
It's a long storied franchise as well. So that's a lot of people, and broadcasters included, that can go up on that Mount Rushmore. But for this generation, for anyone who has watched Dodgers baseball for the last 20 years, Clayton Kershaw is the guy at the head for them, and I think that puts him up on that mountain, top 5. I think that especially if we're taking all the generations, everyone's got theirs, and he is this generation's Sandy Koufax. A lot of similarities also, interestingly enough. So absolutely top 5 for me all time.
Is he the top since they moved to LA in 1958?
That's an interesting question. I think he's got some, maybe some competition with the broadcaster, maybe in being the most recognizable, maybe Vin Scully. But like in terms of guys playing on the field, I think he's the guy that if you're putting up a history of the Dodgers banner somewhere, he might be the guy right in the middle.
Oh, so you meant Vin Scully, not me. Okay, good. Glad for the clarification on that in terms of the in terms of the Mount Rushmore of Dodgers lore. Great career, unbelievable person. Congratulations to Clayton and Ellen Kershaw on what has been an unbelievable ride. Hopefully another ring is in his future, but certainly hopefully some postseason innings. Much more to come on Foul Territory. Look at babyface Kersh. That was after he got drafted the first time he came to Dodger Stadium. So, my goodness, who would have thought the amount of innings that young man was going to pitch at that very stadium, and that we would be talking about his retirement 18 years, actually more than 18 years, because that's when he got drafted. So 20 years later. All right, coming up, Justin Turner will join the show. Talking, of course, a little bit about Kersh. They were teammates for a long time, but more importantly for JT, the Cubs, they are in the postseason. We'll be right back. Chandler Rome, who does a great job on the Crush City Territory podcast here on the Foul Territory Network, had this to say. The Astros plan to activate Isaac Paredes off the injured list prior to tonight's game against the Mariners. Sources tell The Athletic Paredes has been out since July 19th after suffering a severe right hamstring strain. First on it was Brian McTaggart, who works for MLB.com, covering the Stros. Erik, we've talked about it, man. Calves, hamstrings, obliques, they're tricky. I hope this isn't too soon.
I mean, it's so close to the end. You're just going to get what you get from him. He's not going to have the fatigue factor, I don't think. But you also you don't have top high-end speed. You never had it, but you're going to see a lot of Giancarlo Stanton type of runs. And is he going to be able to go you're going to play some close games with the Mariners this series. Is he going to get a base hit or walk because he does a great job of handling the zone so well? Is he going to walk and then a base hit? Is he going to be able to go first to third? That's probably why they're activating him, because he says he can. Is it at a jog? Can he score from second? We'll see.
Trevor, they have to do it, right? I mean, they got to get in. I mean, they're going to get in, I would think, unless the Guardians make some, whatever. I mean, the Guardians do control their own destiny. But it's a matter of getting in or winning the division. I mean, I guess they go for broke here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an all hands on deck situation. I think every single year there's guys with a little nagging injury going on or something where they're trying to come back real quick. I remember back in 2022, we had Starling Marte with his hand just come in, no rehab for the last week of the season, just come in, and he had no problems with it. So that might be an issue, or that might be what happens. But they just need him to swing it. That really, at the end of the day, they just really need him to swing it. And I am a little bit, when it comes to this stuff, sometimes they get a little tricky, especially with hamstrings. And when it happened, it was really, really bad. No one seemed very optimistic about it. So I'm hoping that this wasn't a situation where he feels pressure to do it, to kind of push him through the end. And getting 10 more days maybe makes him ready for the playoffs. And that's what the problem is. I hope that's not the case. But if not, I think anyone in that lineup will say, we'll take all the help we can get. So I guess we'll have to see kind of what level he's at.
So much to talk about with our next guest. Always a pleasure to have Justin Turner on the show. Before we get into what Clayton Kershaw means to JT, let's talk about the Cubs. Congratulations, Justin. Obviously, we know that the what's their name? The Milwaukee Brewers have clinched the division, but the Chicago Cubs are in the postseason. Everything hurts. It totally does. Congrats, man. What a good year. What's it been like for you? Hang on, JT. We can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
We're not paying to listen to you. We're paying to watch you. So that's it. People just want to see that face. They want to see
just act it out.
Perfection.
Just act it out with your hands. We'll get it.
Yeah, just talk very, very dramatically with your hands. Oh my goodness.
Microphones today.
So much. I mean, anytime you have a teammate like JT on, like teammate of Kershaw's, because he saw him in the thick. He saw him when he was big Kershaw. A lot of big questions.
While we work on Justin's microphone issue, let's talk about this for a hot second. The Chicago Cubs, again, we talked about it. The Brewers, we know they're good, but Chicago plays the game a little bit differently than the Brewers do. And now they're out without the services right now of Kyle Tucker, who's trying to come back from a calf injury. So, Trevor, I ask you, what do the Cubs need to do to get as deep as they can in the postseason?
Number one, get Kyle Tucker back for the playoffs. That guy in the lineup, even if he's dialed or not, is a big problem to prepare for pitchers. And he's not a guy you can write off no matter how things are going. So having his name on the lineup does a lot for them. And if we can get PCA going just a little bit, feeling pretty confident going into a playoff series, because he is a guy who loves the big moment and really bathes in it. If you can get him feeling confident before he has opportunities to come up big in those situations, I think that would be massive for them.
All right, JT, can you hear us now? Or can we hear you now? Nope, we still can't hear you. Oh, man.
You still look great.
Pull out the AirPods. Maybe take the AirPods out.
He's going to try no AirPods. Not yet, JT. We're still with you.
The beard looks incredible today, though.
I know, everything. Like
it really does. Lined up.
I don't know what else he can do. He doesn't know what else he can do.
I feel like maybe those bottles of tequila that his wife bought just got to his phone.
All right. So if he can still hear us, log out and then re-log in, Justin. I'll text him too. Log out, re-log in with
turn it on again.
Yeah.
Did you turn off the power button? Did you try rebooting the computer?
Log out and re-log in without your AirPods. All right. So they need Kyle Tucker back. They need PCA to be what got PCA to the All-Star game. Okay. Do they have enough pitching? Wait, do you have enough?
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
yeah!
Yes, we can.
All right. Congratulations. Chicago is in. We were talking about what it's going to take for you guys to go deep into the postseason. Get Kyle Tucker back. Get PCA going to where he was. That made him an All-Star.
Sorry.
We're good.
I'm on the field. The wonderful folks in Cincinnati are working on getting the field ready for tonight. But no, I think obviously getting Tuck back is going to be a huge part of it. He's, just a professional bat. Every time he steps in the box, has the chance to change the momentum of a game with one swing. And I know he's grinding hard on his calf right now, trying to get back in there. He wants to be in there, and we're looking forward to getting him back.
For sure. What does that look like from a teammate standpoint? The guys grinding. Everybody's gone through things. Do you guys just say, whatever? We know he's a vet. He knows what he needs to do. Or do you guys check in on him? Like, bro, how's that calf? Like, we haven't scored 6 runs in a game. We need you out there, guy.
No, I think it's always like a next man up mentality. Obviously, we still got games to play, even though he's not out here. We're gonna have some great tunes from Cincinnati now. So, you just got to go out and keep winning the game, keep winning the games, keep giving yourself a chance, and it's the beautiful thing about baseball is it's not so heavily reliant on one guy. Obviously, he can really make an impact on our team and our lineup, but we have a really deep lineup, a lot of really good players, and capable of scoring runs in a ton of different ways. So I think that's what has made this group so special.
JT, correct me if I'm wrong. You're either just about to hit or you just hit 15 years service time?
Just hit 15 years service time, yeah. The funny thing about it is I didn't know when it was, because I hit 10 years during COVID in the shortened season, and that was sometime in September, and we know how that was with the service time and the days being all weird, so I think my wife, Courtney, assumed that when I hit 15 it would be in September this year, and it actually was about a month before that. It caught us all off guard. I had no idea either, so yeah, I made it to 15 years somehow. I don't know how, but here I am.
Well, congratulations, first of all. That is an awesome milestone to hit. But also, you are the elder statesman on this team. Many guys have spoken about your leadership being a huge role, a huge reason that you're in the position you're in. And it is not lost on me that most of the time the oldest guy on the team gets an old man nickname. So what is yours? What do they call you? Do they ever just tell you to you sound so old, an old head? That's what they called me all the time, and I was only like 3 years older.
It's more the Latin guys. They call me Tio. So the Latin guys are always ribbing me and telling me how old I am, Viejo, Tio, whatever old name they can think of. But it actually hasn't been too bad. They haven't given me too much crap. I think I wear this shirt every day, so I kind of beat them to the punch. I try to joke around with myself, so take their thunder away from them. But it's been awesome. It helps getting. We just brought Carlos Santana in too, so I'm still a little bit older than him, but he's got more service time than me. So we got a couple of guys over here.
Service time, though, JT, 17 years or 15 years rather, is unbelievable considering just the trajectory of your career. Obviously, all of the different places that you've been, and I thank so much to the New York Mets for DFAing you. I'm so grateful that they were able to do that, and I'll never forget that spring training when you came to Dodger Stadium, or we were at Camelback, of course, and Ned Coletti gave you an opportunity, a non-roster invitee to spring training. And look at the career that you've created. And obviously, Courtney celebrating you as she should with the tequila for your teammates and for you. And I know you're not done. A lot left to go. I can see you around this game forever. I can see you managing. But have you taken a moment to realize, my God, I went from being no job to 15 years in the bigs?
Yeah, absolutely. I talk about it all the time where, you get non-tendered by the Mets in 2013, which record-wise was, one of the worst teams in baseball. And I'm sitting there all off-season trying to figure out what I'm going to do next and thinking if this team doesn't want me, who's going to want me, right? And I just got I got pretty lucky being in the right place at the right time. I actually had a couple offers from a couple other teams, and at the time I was hitting with Marlon Byrd, trying to revamp my swing, and he was good friends with Michael Young, who at the time had a decision to make whether or not he was going to play another year or retire with the Dodgers. And Marlon told me, hey, whatever you do, just wait till my decision, because if he decides to retire, I'm pretty sure the Dodgers are going to give you a call. And I held out as long as I could, and sure enough, Michael decided to take the cleats off, and the next day I got a call from the Dodgers, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened in my career.
All right, so Michael Young needs a bottle of tequila too to help you get that 15. I love that story. But I got one more question for you before we get to some Clayton stuff. Is there a chance, if somebody told you, JT, you shave your beard for the playoffs, automatic World Series win, do you do it? Because I haven't seen since the Norfolk days when you were hitting doubles in Norfolk because no balls ever went out of the ballpark, have I seen you without a beard?
1,000,000%. I would shave it. 1,000,000%. So anything for the boys. Anything for the boys,
Love that.
Anything for the boys, anything for a ring. Let's talk.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if my kid would recognize me if I shaved it though. That might be a problem.
It'd be a good video. It'd be a good Instagram. I like it.
Yeah, he'll figure it out, right?
Does Bo love you more than he loves Clark? I'm pretty sure he loves Clark more than he loves you in court.
He loves Clark. He says Clark all day. Any animal he sees, he says Clark. And his favorite thing is after games at home in Wrigley to go down on the field, and he sits in the outfield, waits for Clark to come out, and then he just wants Clark to hold him, and we can't take him back. So I felt bad for Clark.
Who's Clark? Who is Clark? We need a little insight.
The Cubs mascot.
The Cubs mascot,
Okay.
yeah.
I know who Clark is, but not everybody in Cubland knows who Clark is.
I don't know how many one-year-olds wouldn't scream for their life when a mascot tries to pick them up, but apparently my kid is different.
JT, what was your reaction? I'm sure you knew that Clayton was going to make the announcement, but what is your reaction now that Clayton has decided that this year is going to be the end for him as a player? And what do you think his legacy means?
I actually didn't know. I found out yesterday just like everyone else. And, it's been talked about over here. Guys ask me all the time, you think Clayton's going to keep going? And the way he's throwing the ball, I'm like, shoot, I mean, why not? He's still one of the best left-handers in the game, and he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to come back, why not, right? But I think I made him a little video and sent it to him today. I don't know if he got it yet because he's pitching tonight, but just thinking back, I faced him in Low A when he was on the Great Lakes Loons, and I was with the Dayton Dragons, and he was incredible then, and that was before he threw a slider. So just getting to share a uniform with him for 9 years, and I mean, obviously that he was blessed with an unbelievable left arm and could do special things. But I told him this in the video I sent him. He never took that for granted. He never just said, hey, this is a God-given talent. All I have to do is show up. He was the hardest working teammate I've ever played with. I don't think in the 9 years I was there I ever saw him miss a rep in a workout. Now, don't get me wrong. These years now, he's a little older. It's taking him a little longer to get through those workouts. But he's breaking them into 2 or 3 sessions so he can get through them and making sure he gets all his work done. You see him on the ballpark cam all the time as the first one to the yard, out running sprints day after a start. Just an amazing career. He accomplished so much. He's one of the best left-handers to ever do it. And I'm proud to be able to tell people that, I got to share a uniform with him. And I'm happy for Ellen and the kids. They've been through it with him year in and year out, and they love it probably just as much as he does. So I think he's excited to, close this chapter and accomplishing everything you can possibly accomplish on a baseball field, and then, getting to be full-time dad because he does such a great job with those kids.
JT, we've heard a lot, especially in the last 24 hours, about Clayton and his just relentless work and how he's just kind of compiled the year. But I think that people kind of maybe forget about how impressive he could be in a moment as well. Is there a moment where you looked and he did something or pulled something off where you're just like, this guy's just incredible. He's just on a different level.
Obviously the no-hitters stands out. That was a special one. He was, one low throw away from it being a perfect game. His ability to adapt and take the ball no matter when the team needed it, whether that was starting on short rest in the postseason, whether I was coming out of the bullpen, he always answered the bell. And, to be honest, he probably doesn't get a fair shake for some of the stuff in the playoffs, but I don't think people don't understand how many times he went on short rest, how many times he came out of the bullpen, how many times he was doing things that he shouldn't have probably had to do. And he did that because he's the ultimate competitor, wanted to win, wanted to do anything for the boys. And, I think I respect that the most out of him.
Justin, it's a pleasure every time we get to talk to you. I appreciate it very much. Best of luck to the Cubs, man. This is a fun team to watch, a good team to watch. Congratulations. Not to sound silly, but I'm proud of you. 15 years is nothing. to be, and that's incredible. It's incredible that anybody hits 15, let alone 10, and you've hit 15. So thanks for taking the time. Thanks for all you do, Roberto Clemente Award winner. As good as you are on the field, you're that much better off, and we appreciate you very much. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, Rich. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
All right, coming up after the break, the birthday boy joins us. Ken Rosenthal is next, right after this.
FT Nation, what's happening? It's your boy Parlay Pap, coming off of a winner. That's right. But today I gotta get this bet in before I get in this airplane to go up to Boston. So let's get it. I got New York Mets. They're going against the Nationals tonight. Nationals are cooked, so we going Mets. And I'm going Dylan Cease and the Padres tonight against the White Sox, against your White Sox, AJ. So let's keep it hot. Let's keep it going, baby. Let's get that cheese. You're putting 100 on. We're getting plus money like always.
If you don't laugh listening to Pap, you don't have a soul, by the way. He is on his way to Boston. We're doing unobstructed views tonight. I have, as far as my lock of the day, I took Boston on the money line, just straight up beating the Tampa Bay Rays. And Trev, what is yours? We already did yours, right? We already did yours, and we did Erik. So
Toronto over the Royals. Money line.
Okay. All right. Over the Royals. Toronto on the money line. All right. BetMGM, we appreciate you very much. BetMGM players will receive an MLB SGP Boost token. To use the SGP Boost token, add an SGP wager made up entirely of Major League Baseball wagers to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager that was made with the SGP Boost token, you will receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. It is time now for the Inside Scoop. We are jam-packed with guests today. Welcoming in the birthday boy, Ken Rosenthal. Happy birthday to our friend and to our colleague. Great to be with you. Thanks for being with us on your birthday. Nobody works harder in the game than Ken Rosenthal. Kenny, does Cleveland really have a shot at the American League wild card?
It's an uphill fight, obviously. There's precious few games remaining, but that's why we play them. We play it out and see what happens. And stranger things have happened. I'm just so impressed by what they've done overall. They've had a roller coaster season beyond even what most teams, most contenders have experienced. And here they are, they're hot again. And sweeping the Tigers put them in this position. So I don't rule out anything, but you look at the standings there, it's 1.5 games. The Red Sox are not exactly tearing it up. And more important from the Guardians' perspective, obviously the playoffs is the most important. But to me, 10 games over 500, that's impressive for this team. This is not an offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, one of the people close to the Guardians told me this week, I've never seen a worse offensive team for a contender. So good for them hanging in there. Their starting pitching has been tremendous in September. And Do I see it happening? Not necessarily, but 1.5 games is not insurmountable either.
At this time of year, we usually should be talking about the fact that, well, what if they expand the playoffs? The Guardians are easily in. Should the Guardians be in? You said about how inept their offense is. When you watch them on a day-to-day basis, should Major League Baseball have a team like the Guardians in the playoffs?
I would say, Eric, that they're more qualified than the 3 National League pursuers of the Mets, the Diamondbacks, the Reds, and the Giants. Those teams are all around 500. And the fact that they're still in it, I wrote about that this week. That, to me, is much more offensive than the Guardians. They're going to get to 84, 85 wins, I would think, at minimum. 84 has been the lowest in the 3 years of this system. That's the lowest for a qualifier. 2023 Diamondbacks and Marlins both had 84. I'm not offended by an 84-win playoff team. I'd be offended by one that was lower than that. And it could happen in the National League. You see the numbers right there. The Mets are just 5 over with a $340 million payroll. And then the Diamondbacks, Reds, and Giants are all within 1 game of 500 or 1 over. I mean, that, to me, is much more embarrassing than the Guardians, who, for all their offensive shortcomings, are still a team that is winning games without Luis Ortiz, without Emmanuel Clase, both of them under investigation for gambling. So while they might not look like a playoff team, if they steal it from the Red Sox, good for them, and then they would have deserved it.
And without Shane Bieber, who was traded, obviously, Ken, is Stephen Vogt doing a better job perhaps this year with the changes and what he's dealing with than the year in which he won Manager of the Year?
It's hard to compare, Alanna. Every season is so different, but this is a really good job. And to expand the conversation a little bit, American League Manager of the Year is fascinating. To me, Joe Espada should be the front runner for all that the Astros have dealt with this season, but you can make a case for John Schneider. You can make a case for Alex Cora if they get there. You certainly can make a case for Stephen Vogt as well, maybe even Dan Wilson in Seattle. So Vogt obviously has done a tremendous job just keeping that team afloat when at one point it looked like they were just cooked. They were 13 and a half out in July, right? So props to him, props to the entire organization, because they do this year after year. And we see this with Milwaukee. We see it to an extent with Tampa Bay. And I will say it again. Yes, low revenue teams like those 3 that I just named operate at a distinct disadvantage. However, it does not preclude them from fielding competitive teams, and that's what these franchises seem to do year after year.
Gave a little Joe Espada shout out there. So let's talk a little bit about the Astros and Isaac Paredes coming back today. You probably know a little bit more about this. Is this a he's 100% and we're ready to bring him back situation, or is this a 80% of Isaac Paredes is better than the replacement and we're in a race here kind of situation? And
Trevor,
how do you?
My guess would be the latter. Without knowing for sure, I can't imagine he's fully there. When he had the injury, if you recall, they said he might be back, he might not. It's not looking great, and I am sure he can't run at full strength. That's never been the strength of his game anyway. But he is much needed right now because of the Yordan Alvarez situation, and he likely is out for at least the regular season with the ankle injury that he has. So Paredes can DH. He steps in nicely in that role. He actually has no other position on the team since the trade for Carlos Correa. So I'm not sure where he is physically. I'd be shocked if he was totally there. I'm sure he would need more time. In a perfect world, it's not a perfect world right now.
Can you talk about the teams that are looking for GMs and how that search is and how does it really impact the teams currently now when they're trying to find a new GM, and in the future, how much a current day GM impacts teams?
Erik, you've played for teams, I'm sure, as has Trevor, that it made a change at GM, even a change at manager. And I don't know that players are necessarily impacted in the moment or in that particular season. They just keep doing their thing. And obviously, a change in manager can have an effect on a clubhouse. We do know that. A change in a GM, I'm not so sure that really has a tremendous reach into the clubhouse. I don't think it does. Now, how impactful can a GM be? Well, there's a reason why Andrew Friedman gets paid the money he does, and other GMs get big dollars as well, because they have a huge impact and they can change an entire organization. one way or the other. So, yes, that impact is great. And we've seen that time and again. We'll see in this next hiring cycle who gets hired and how this all shakes out. But the Washington situation is certainly interesting. They could hire a president of baseball operations and a GM. I'm not sure that's the way they're going to go. It's under consideration. The Red Sox and Orioles are looking for GMs under presidents of baseball operations. And then you have teams like the Pirates and the Rockies that also could make changes. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are other teams as well where we hear of things that might happen. We know the Cardinals are going to have a change, but that's already been predetermined. Chaim Bloom taking over for John Mozeliak.
Ken, I want to ask you this really quick. Obviously, a lot of news going on with Clayton Kershaw announcing his retirement. We've had several guests on the show today discussing it. I understand you have a good Kersh story. I'm sure, like many of us who have covered him his entire career, there's a lot to choose from.
I have two, and it relates to covering him, not from watching him pitch or anything like that. And the first is 2013, when he was negotiating the big extension he signed with the Dodgers. It turned out to be 7 years, $215 million. That was signed in January of 2014, but I found out that they were talking, and I found out that it was about $210 million. It was in August of that season, I believe. And I remember Clayton Kershaw at that time was a young man. He was 25 years old. He wasn't this presence that he is now. And I saw him in the clubhouse, and I said, hey, can we go out to the dugout? I need to ask you something. And I asked him if it was accurate that they were talking about this kind of deal. And he said, your sources are sick, man. Well, that was confirmation, and I went with it. So I didn't name him as a source, but like when he said that, of course I was good. And then 2017, NLCS against the Cubs. I don't remember what was going on with him physically at the time, but there was something going on with him. And I wanted to talk to him because maybe he was pitching the next day and he was running off the field. And I said, Clayton, and he blew right past me. And I was like, okay, he doesn't want to talk today. I don't ever take offense at that. I didn't know what was up. And then he pitched, I believe, I don't want to say anything wrong. He pitched the next night. I think he pitched well, or 2 nights, whatever it was. And I saw him after the game, or maybe the next day, and he said, you know why I blew you off, right? And I was not even aware that he knew he had blown me off. He was just kind of walking in, and he definitely saw me and heard me. And he said, I didn't want to talk about what was going on because he was dealing with the physical things that he had dealt with throughout his career. Justin Turner alluded to this in the previous segment. This guy pitched in circumstances, pitched with things physically that a lot of us didn't know about, and a lot of it was unfair. The playoff stuff, he was asked to do too much, and the numbers reflect that, and the performance reflects that. It's not excusing anything, and he wouldn't excuse anything, but they ask too much of him often with short rest and all kinds of other things as well.
All right, Ken, this is your birthday, but you have to give us a gift before we give you a gift, okay? Can you put the Mount Chavez Ravine of Dodger players? I can't say Mount Rushmore because it's tired. Mount Chavez Ravine of Dodgers players, and where on that list is Clayton Kershaw?
Well, Jackie's on there, of course. I would say Roy Campanella is on there. Kershaw, I would think, is on there. I have to look at this, Erik. You put me on the spot, which is fine. Yeah, I don't have a full picture in my head right here of all-time Dodger greats. What's that, Alanna?
Sandy Koufax.
Sandy, of course. I was thinking Carl Erskine, too. But, yeah, Sandy, Kershaw, Jackie, and Campanella. I'm sure I'm missing someone. You can maybe say Steve Garvey. You can maybe say some others as well, and Dodger fans can start screaming at me right now, but that's who immediately comes to mind.
All right, now it is time for us to give you a gift, Ken Rosenthal. Somebody wanted to say happy birthday to you. I mean, and really, this is special because growing up, you had a birthday party at McDonald's, you would have Grimace at your birthday party, right? That's exactly what you want. But in all seriousness, some of our fans wanted to say stuff as well. At referee 583 with the super chat, Ken is the gold standard in baseball media. Decades of class, credibility, and respect. Nothing but support here. Happy birthday. at FT, let him know. Absolutely, Ken. You are the gold standard of this great game that we cover. We appreciate you very much. Happy birthday. No other way, I'm sure, than you would like to spend it than working. It's what you do best.
No, I wouldn't say that a lot, but it will be a happy birthday. Thanks a lot. And thanks to that person for saying that. That was really nice.
Yeah, that was at referee 583. All right, Ken, thanks so much for the inside scoop. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Now for slap hands, guys. And I tell you what, we've had a lot of stuff to talk about today, and it's been a good one, and we appreciate it so much. So we're slapping hands, Trevor and Erik. Any final thoughts on the day before we head into the weekend? Trevor, you go first.
Lot of big series happening right here at the end of the season. I will be watching the Mariners take on the Astros, but you got a lot of options. So enjoy it because baseball will not be here forever. The end is coming.
Oh, wow.
Go watch these games.
Very dark.
The end of the season is coming.
Are we talking? Oh, I thought we were talking like work stoppage or something. I'm like, geez, this got really dark.
No. No, that's at least 12 months away from me saying that.
Don't forget, guys, you can catch Maydays on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, right after Foul Territory. Erik Kratz, any final thoughts? What are you watching this weekend? Seattle and Houston, I'm sure, is on everybody's mind.
There's no way anybody should be watching anything else. I get it. There's other games, but that is the series. And I hope the first one is an absolute banger, one-run game. Houston comes back, blows it in the ninth. Cal Raleigh hits 2 dingers. That's what I need. That's what I need to see this weekend.
That would be great to see. Before we let you go, what's Kratz hats? What do you got today?
My most versatile hat. The Washington Nationals.
Okay.
It can also be the Twins if you want it to be. If you can wear your hat upside down.
Kind of looks like the Marlins a little bit of the Marlins.
Oh wait! That's the last one. It's the Marlins.
It is versatile. That is versatility. For everybody here on Foul Territory, Trevor May, Erik Kratz, Jeremy Meyer, Claudia Olson, Gab, Mark, all of us. I'm Alanna Rizzo. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great weekend, everybody. We appreciate you guys for being with us. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Scott Braun will be back as well. Take care.